Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on PharcydeTv with my co-host Jeremy Scipio
What's going on, people?
and Freddy Lockhart. And I must say, man, the B-roll conversation was very entertaining, man. Well, I've never met him in person, but you think you know somebody, man, and you get the you get the unedited and the bloopers, man. And it was a treat to talk with you, my brother.
You as well, man. Appreciate you having me. Cheers.
All good, all good.
Yeah, now we're there.
Absolutely.
Hey, is there a link to this I can share?
I'm gonna send it to you right now.
All right.
Yeah, Jeremy's great at the multitasking. You know what I'm saying? Very good. And congratulations, Jeremy. Congratulations.
So when people say congratulations, I'll be like, on what? Because it's
That was April, right? When was that? April?
oh, you talking about the film?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Congrats on that. That looked good, man.
Yeah. I was surprised with the outcome. It looked way better than I expected to. I made it 20 minutes into the film, so that's amazing as well.
Yeah, because brothers always end up on the cutting room floor after the cold open.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I think I broke a record for a black man in a horror film.
Yeah, you the
20
longest
minutes.
living, other than the dude in the Night of the Living Dead. You almost, but he got in the end.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what I just not realizing how important my role was, and the fact that I was like was it second build on the credits list, so that was cool. But yeah, back to life, back to reality, unless it becomes memeable. I mean, let's start doing memes on the movie.
Yeah.
We get a lot of write-ups on the movie. That's fucking cool. Like, probably get like
it's on Hulu.
It is on AMC Plus, but you can also get on it through Prime. Through Amazon Prime.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
All right, I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, go ahead and get you a free subscription for about a week, and after a week you cancel that. You know what I'm saying?
I have
Watch
Prime.
like 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Cancel.
Oh man, no, I got Prime, and
Everybody got Prime, man. If you ain't got Prime, man.
No, but it's AMC Plus. I think it's a separate app, but
I have that too. I have all the apps,
okay.
homie.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, right here on a TV show, code. But I'll pay the money to see it for you, Mel. So I'll support the homie.
Well, I appreciate that. I just know people I'd be like AMC Plus. They'd be like, AMC Plus. I'm like, just get the free trial.
Yeah,
please.
no, I'll pay for that.
But the movie is good. I was actually, like I said, when we was shooting it, I didn't know what we was working on, but it turned out being great. So I'm
yeah, man, that shit was dope.
It was interesting because Jerry that shot Nicole one, man, celebrating the Satisfied remix out today. You know what I'm saying? Booty Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Produced by Fab Cursor, the homeboy out in France. And and then mixed and mastered by OG Bass Heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Yeah. But
how was it?
Dope.
Okay.
Yeah, no, dope. But Jeremy, when I saw the preview clip of your movie, it's so funny because like I was saying before I got sidetracked with Satisfied, but I had to throw that in there because that's that's family. But Jeremy was super 007 about, like, he really wasn't giving up too much about this movie, man. He's I'm working on something, whatever. And he didn't actually tell me. I found out because he had placed the little commercial reel or whatever it was. And it's so funny because when I saw the back of his head, I was like, that's Jeremy.
I knew the second he showed up. I was like, that's Jeremy.
I was like, that's Jeremy. But the funny thing is, I said, okay, you see the back of his head, he's at the gas pump. He's not gonna make it from the gas. Like I was like, he's not gonna make it from the gas pump. This is his big scene. He's gonna be at the gas pump. He's pumping a little gas, and then it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So
no, it's a little storyline. That's what I like. You know what I mean? It's funny because there's a scene in there that was not in the script, And I've heard about this happening, but I never experienced it. So that was the first time they was just like, "Hey, the the director want to talk to you," and he never came and talked to me. And then they was just like, "Yeah, so you gonna wear this?" And it was like, "No," it was just a towel.
Yeah, you
So
did keep it secret. You did keep it on the low about that because I remember I'd be like, "Hey, what are you up to tonight?" "Oh, I'm doing something." I was like, "This nigga selling drugs," but you were shooting a movie. Look at Michael P. Jordan over here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Look,
we
as
thought
soon as
I'm sorry.
Look at it.
No, I was gonna say we thought you grew your Jerry curl back, man.
No,
Moonlighting.
Yeah.
nah, I thought when I seen Jonathan Majors got hemmed up, I was like, okay, there's a space available. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Trying to
man.
get
I've
in.
always been saying you need to be in acting. You need to be doing that because that's there's always room for like they'll give two brothers a shot.
Tell me about
Between
it.
between the age of let's say 28 and 45, and that's
Yeah,
the span. And then after that, you can be like Denzel and Sam Jackson and just make a movie every week.
yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah. Well, shoot. I mean, look, I noticed more people have seen me than previously. Like I said, I got so many write-ups. It's funny because they have the article and they'd be like starring this person, also this person was supporting this and that, and they'd be like what the black guy added was this and that, and then they have my name highlighted, and I click on it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I wonder
What the
what they
black guy
got
was
linked.
highlighted?
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying no, just say Jeremy Scipio. It'll be like highlighted, in the
Yeah.
article. So I was like, what the heck? I click on it and say, oops, that's the end of the shirts.
Oh,
I
but
thought I
hey,
was
your
gonna
name's
have.
out there.
Yeah, but no, my IMDb Pro or my IMDb is connected. It shows all my movies and stuff that I've been in. But yeah, it's cool. Like I said, I just want more. Hungry for
When's
more.
the did you guys do the premiere and all that already?
So we did do a premiere, but I thought it was just like a screening type situation because it was something called Beyond Fest. So I came back in town specifically for that, and I took my wife with me, and then we went to that, and I thought they were going to have another one closer to the actual date,
Mhm.
and they hit me up and said they were going to have it, so that was when I was going to invite everybody out to, but they didn't follow up, so I don't know, and I had some plans to do like a little private screening, but kind of fell through, so.
Oh man. So what have you cut like a reel of yourself out of that movie? Just your parts?
Nah, not yet, but I will. It's
All right.
yeah, I just pretty much the AMC app, I just got it myself. But I'll tell you, if you go to these reviews, do you watch movie reviews online?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I read them a lot.
Oh man, so the reading is better because you don't see the sass in it.
Oh,
The reviews they'd be like, well, I didn't find it believable at all that a gunshot was shot at the store and the guy didn't react. It didn't make sense to me. Like, why would he go in?
hey,
I'm
from the
like,
hood,
bro,
that's just regular, homie.
it's a movie. Movie got a
Yeah.
movie, bro. Like, there would be no movie if it was like, oh snap, a white girl got shot. All right, I'm out of here. Peace. Like, there's no movie. But yeah, but I plan on making a reel soon or adding it to my reel because I
Yeah, I
need
think
work.
that's a good idea. I could probably cut it for you. It's a really good thing that you did. Like it's one of those bones, especially if you throw back home and people are like, oh, this motherfucker in a movie. And I'm working,
Mhm.
I'm the regional manager for Arby's. Nothing wrong with that. You got to make a living, but
Well, I'll tell you what my mama said. My mama, she has no accurate assessment of what success is in Hollywood. She's like, okay,
uh,
now look, all I'm asking is, look, I don't want nothing now, but when you get like 30 million, I'm gonna want something. You can't just be making 30 million and not, cutting me in. But I don't want nothing right now. So I'm like, what you think? How much you think I made off of
yeah.
that?
They think everybody's making Denzel money, and it's just like, no, you got to start somewhere. But the most important thing is you're getting good screen time, and that's always
Yeah,
good. It's like
yeah,
you show that, put that on a reel. Look, I can act, I can do this, I can do that. You know what I mean? You a married man now,
mhm.
homie. You gotta
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
You made it past the back of the head shot, man. The cameo at the back of your head. You made it, and you lasted minutes into the to the production, man. You did great.
Fun fact, I was in the movie Straight Outta Compton. And I was, it was the back of my head. Just like you said, yeah. Yep, that was the extent of my screen time. Yeah, there's no way you would catch me if you weren't looking for me.
Hey.
Hey Jeremy, that link you sent me was like an advertisement to how to live stream on the internet.
No.
Yeah.
No way. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it. Hold on. That's what the heck. I'm gonna click on right now myself.
I just gave Jeremy all this credit, man. I felt
I just ran
multitasker. You can do 7 things.
No, that's the chat. Not lie. I got it from this video. I'm not even kidding. That's crazy. I mean, I'll see. I'll try to see if I get it my other way. But no, I just ripped it straight from this video this feed that we on right now.
Yeah, it said something about like it's like an ad because I sent it to somebody and they sent it back and I looked at it. I was like, oh, it's showing an ad for at live chat. We've transformed website chat into business opportunities.
Good thing I seen you this Pornhub link.
Sent me his bank information.
Nah, man, we're gonna take this moment, man, to give a rest in peace shout out to Richard Roundtree, man.
Roundtree,
man,
yeah, blaxploitation film star,
but
advocate.
One of the better examples of black exploitation, the character he played, you know.
Yeah, I think because he was more just, you know, he it wasn't about pimping and slapping girls around. He was just more about just like whooping that ass that needed to be whooped. So
yeah,
I've always
tapping. He was about tapping that ass.
He was about tapping that ass, exactly. But he wasn't about slapping that ass.
Yeah. Oh man. So what's up, Freddy?
Okay.
Oh no, you go ahead, Jeremy. You in the double dutch.
Yeah. So what's it? Jeremy. Okay, you said it is. Did it work?
All right.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm hearing us play back. All right. Hold on. I'm going to send it to a friend. Boom. All right.
All right. So, Freddie, for those who don't know, what city are you from?
I was born in San Antonio, Texas. And then I lived there for 4 years and then moved to Edwards Air Force Base here in California, lived there for 4 years, and then moved to Phoenix, Arizona, lived there for 12 years and been out here for the last 23 years. Shit.
So, you know, it's funny. I had a cousin that was in the Air Force and he was an introvert, but he was hella smart. I mean, like hella, he was so smart that he wasn't a snob. Like he just felt he was he felt he
like me? Is that what you're trying to say, man? I see you.
You're a mere mortal. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't say that, but the way that he was, and I could just, as a child, I could see how his mind worked.
Right.
He was just on a different level than us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the way his mind worked and everything. But whenever I think Air Force, I always think a level of intelligence, because it's kind of like, and not to say there aren't intelligent people in the Army nor the Marines, but the Air Force, generally, you got to have some mind about you.
Yeah, it's called the corporate military. Basically, they're more pencil pushers and thinkers than, let's say, a Marine whose job is infantry and kicking ass. Yeah, exactly. Just I'll kill you. My parents were both in the Air Force and they both entered as officers. And so basically, yeah, they weren't like super gung-ho about the military. They were more like, you know, make your bed, keep your room clean kind of shit.
Dope. So we got the comedy, we got the hip hop, Splendid Radio. What's the first hip hop media you ever purchased, and what was the format?
Media. So are you including like even magazines like you know, Word Up
Magazine,
magazine.
CD, 8-track.
I would probably
Cassette.
say I'm second generation hip hop because my dad loved hip hop. Like he was into Sugar Hill Gang, he was into Houdini, all that. Like he turned me onto it. So I think the first when I really became a hip hop head is when I had to come home at 3 p.m. every day and see UMTV Raps. And in a way, that's why I became so partial to the East Coast at the time, because they catered to the East Coast. You know what I mean? MTV was in New York. And so, but the first time I ever saw a rap show, I was 7 years old, and my mom had booked, this is 1986-ish, my mom had booked a new band called NWA. She didn't know. And this was a park where there was like maybe 100 people. It was like she worked at a hospital and she got the budget to book anybody. So she booked NWA. These fellows seem like on the up and up, these nice guys.
For real?
And yes, this is dead ass, I swear to God. And I knew all their lyrics. And my mom, like, so they come out, and I remember Eazy-E coming out going, I'll never forget this. Like, you remember the old call and response shit with the crowd and the boom bap era, and like before that. And he came out and goes, "Shit, goddamn, get off your ass and jam." And I'm catching it. I'm like, yeah. My mom's like, "What the fuck?" This is how they open. And they get into every fucking nasty rhyme they have. And I'm right there with them. And the look of mothers and fathers and daughters' faces who were like, "What is happening?" And I'm just eating it the fuck up. You know, they and then Ice-T was there as well. Ice-T came out and performed. Like, my mom accidentally booked a bunch of people who blew the fuck up. I don't know if they were on a tour locally already, and she was like, "These fellas are in town, let me get them." I think that was the deal. I saw Ice-T and Eazy-E and NWA when I was 7 years old. And I knew then, I was hooked. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. I can't do it, so I'll go into comedy.
I know for me, I was just thinking about the question, was bringing memories. It was actually a MC Hammer tape. Oh
yeah, which one? You can't touch this.
Yeah, but you know, I remember it had MC Hammer. I guess he ripped off Can't Touch It was a ripoff. So, but he did Dance Machine, like the Jacksons. But it was, I didn't even know the original version. I just knew MC Hammer's like, MC Hammer, I'm a dance machine. Watch it down, while I do my thing on the video screen.
He had a cartoon.
Man, I played that tape. He had a cartoon. He had had a doll. I had the MC Hammer Ken doll.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that when that came out. You know, I was already so knee deep into hip hop when he came out that I was like, man, fuck this old bitch ass dancing and whatnot. Like, I was already like, that was 91, 92. He started to pop, and I was already down with Ice Cube's Death Certificate inside and out. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I kind of, but come to find out that Hammer was kind of a gangster.
Yeah, no, he was in Death Row and everything. You know what I mean? He was in Death Row when Tupac died.
Yeah. Remember his second album? He came out, the Too Legit to Quit. He was all G'd out.
Yeah, he was doing so much, man. He was doing so much. I remember seeing him doing this, but he had the hat, like trying to be gangster.
Yeah.
He had Lokes in the beanie. I'm like, where do the Lokes in the beanie come from?
Yeah,
man?
He was trying to look like Naughty by Nature. Had the baggy beanie going on.
He looked like he hit a blunt, sipped a 40. Threw on some Lokes.
What's crazy is
getting Hammer, man.
That might have been the real him, though, because like when you hear stories about how gangster he is, that makes me think that the Genie Pants were the studio notes. The gangster album was like, this is the real me, homie. Oakland till I die.
The Surplus Store was the real him.
You know? The yellow one in the corner.
One of the highest selling rappers to this day. You can't deny the work. You know what I'm saying?
Hammer?
He did. Yeah, Hammer, man. Hammer don't hurt him. You know what I mean?
I always liked him. I got more into him when he did Too Legit to Quit and all that, but Hey man, Hammer was he was the time. He was part of your childhood.
Also, exactly. I was a child and I had no taste. What was your favorite medium? What's your favorite medium to consume music?
I'm sorry, my favorite medium for what?
To consume music, all time.
My favorite medium of all time to
You can say
listen.
anything from, from radio to Spotify to
MP3,
cassette
CD,
tape.
cassette tape.
Well, I'm gonna sound
track.
like a real fucking nerd, but a record is always gonna sound the best because it separates all the sounds. They're not compressed.
Yes.
And then when the CD came along, it compressed all the sound digitally, so you get a flat sound. So I really like the sound of a record playing on a proper stereo. Other than that, headphones, some good Beats by Dre, and just close my eyes, get high, and let it take me away, because I have to feel the audible depth. And if there's no audible depth, then it's just flat. But if there's audible depth, then you feel the music too. You feel the bass, you hear the hi-hats, the cymbals, the drums, the guitar, whatever's involved, you hear all that. And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all niggas fall asleep?
No, record. I mean, honestly, the record is the one that permeated all forms of media. You know what I'm saying? Like even Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff. I mean, there might be a shelf life to that, depending on if some new hot app comes through and just makes that stuff obsolete. iTunes was doing well for a while. Now that's like obsolete. But the record.
I do Apple Music, and I just like I subscribe to it, and I like having everything at my fingertips. And the reason being because I'm an old head now, but I don't want to be the old head who doesn't want to listen to any new sounds. I still like to listen to the new stuff. I just let Apple tell me. I'm like, who's the young new snappy artist on the scene? Apple, But
I'd say another benefit.
Some stuff I dig, and even like Pap, our fellow homeboy, like he keeps a young mind without becoming an old head, and he's right. Like sometimes he'll clown, but like you old. I'm like, I know. But at the same time, it's like when you start going back in my day, I don't want to be that guy. Like, yes, I think our era, I think Nas is the greatest rapper ever. Nobody will ever get next to him, but there's a chance. Yeah, I piqued your curiosity. Yeah, homie.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that Nas's name always makes his way to this podcast. I would just like to make it clear to the viewing public.
Oh,
I was not the one. Huh?
Is he taking umbrage? I'm seeing some like.
I'm just saying. I just want to make it clear that I wasn't the one who brought him up.
But no.
Greg, man, like you threw off the vibe, man.
No, what?
Yeah, man.
The vibe.
You threw off you threw off the vibe. Nas is a decent MC. He's a very good MC. He's a very good MC. But it's a lot.
Are we gonna open this up right now?
I'm just saying, man. I mean, I love Nas. I love him, but I'm just saying there's a lot of MCs. There's a lot of MCs though, man.
All right, let's hear some.
I'll tell you my favorite MC.
Okay, go ahead.
The Jizza.
Hey man, you're never gonna. I'm a big fan of the fucking Woo, so I'm glad you didn't come with something whack. You came with something very, very respectable. I'm with that.
It's
Jizza over Nas.
I would take Liquid Swords over. I would put Liquid Swords
over any of his albums in their entirety.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't say that. But I like Liquid Swords though. I can't say.
And I like that you went East Coast too. I like that you didn't say some shit like, "Hey man, I'm gonna put you onto Mac 10." I'd be like, that nigga looks like he stares in the sun all day.
Oh man,
you look confused.
I just seen it was a minute now, but I was at the Nas Wu-Tang concert and love Jizza. He ain't touching Nas though.
Nobody. And I've said this before, and I feel like you don't like to hear it, but it's truth. Nas he's the Orson Welles of hip hop. Orson Welles made Citizen Kane when he was 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the greatest movie ever made, and he couldn't top himself. Just like Nas made Illmatic, the greatest album ever made, and he couldn't top himself. Just like I'll even say this. I'll put the comparison to Michael Jackson. All right. Thriller, how are you going to top 56 million sold? How?
Yeah.
You can't. Even though
Yeah.
you sold 20 million in Bad, that's an enormous hit for anybody, but you can't top yourself. Even though Off the Wall is a better album than Thriller. I said it.
So I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. That Off the Wall is better. Fun fact, and I'm not gonna keep going back and forth with you guys. I'm not gonna do it today. But fun fact, you know, because Nas, he's been on this run, right? It's not over. He just dropped 6 albums with the Hit Boy, and I think before the year's over, he's actually gonna drop the was it I Am the Autobiography, which is the original I Am out the album I Am and Nostradamus as it was intended to come out before it was leaked. So there's gonna be unreleased tracks.
Dre did Nostradamus, right? Dre produced that. Didn't Dre?
No, not directly. He got tracks with Dre on both albums. Or on it was written I Am and Nostradamus.
Okay.
But this is going to be the complete version as it was intended to come out before, because the I Am project was rushed. You know, he's trying to cater to the more mass audience. But the original version, which he got criticized on heavily for, which ended up turning into Lost Tapes and other records, they're going to release I Am the Autobiography before the year's out. So we get to see if, you know, we could take a time travel, you know, trip back and see if Nas would have kept the same trajectory or if he would have just, you know, made a bunch of you owe me's.
You know what? I'll say this. What I'll give to Nas, and it's so funny because I was talking to my father this morning about Nas. I was sharing when I met him. I've met him like on a couple occasions because we were part of a tour together. But I had a real cool one-on-one. Well, not one-on-one. It was Brown was there also. But he kind of gamed me up a little bit on something. But I was talking to my father, and you know what Nas has that it has nothing to do with rapping, but he's a fly brother. You know what I'm saying? He brings a certain swag, you know what I'm saying, and a certain classiness. And it comes across in person too. Like definitely, I was just kind of like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, all right, I get it. But speaking of that, Freddie, in your world, the best musical era.
Oh, the best for hip hop, the best musical era?
No, the best era, period.
Oh, interesting. Very good question. I'd have to go. I'd have to say the 90s, and here's why. It was the cheapest time to distribute music in mass to people. So it cost nothing to make a CD and all was profit, but it still adhered to the record days where the album came out on Tuesday or 11:59 p.m. on Monday night when it turned Tuesday morning. The concert came out. Albums were still themed, just like it was in the 70s and the 60s. So I think the last great bastion of music, and this meant rock and roll from Nirvana and Pearl Jam to hip hop, to the Wu-Tang Clan, Biggie Smalls, Tupac, like all of these people are absolute fucking legends now. You know what I mean? Like there's kids who can't believe Tupac ever lived. He's Elvis Presley to us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's so legendary that when they were even like, oh, we found his murderer, Keefy D couldn't shut his motherfucking mouth. He wrote a book, you know? But it's like, if you're say 22 years old, you're like, oh my God, he was actually a real person. It's like, yeah, he was. And so all the legends that came out and, you know, music video was still a thing. I think that was the last great era, which becomes my favorite era because I lived through it.
And Jada's still sprung.
Yeah.
Still.
I think it's crazy that it's got to be 90s because, I mean, the artists that are still, I used to get into these big drawn out arguments with people about just hip hop. And they'd be like, you know, of course, as a kid, they were talking about some, I'm old school, right? But look at the rappers making the most money. I mean, they're still relevant. You know what I mean? A lot of these new guys, I made this point on the last podcast, so I ain't gonna go in on it. But a lot of these new guys, they act like it's the truth. Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, a lot of guys they say was the truth. They just didn't last. It's not easy to make legendary artists. The 90s made the most legendary artists. Even the era before, respect to a lot of these guys, but they just didn't have the lasting power. Now, I will admit, is because once the industry found out how much money they can make off of these people, you know what I mean?
When it became a viable commercial success, yeah.
Yeah, they went and grabbed certain artists that were willing to bend as opposed to more of the original guys. Of course, that was the game. But regardless, with all that being said, and people can't even sell records anymore. So it's really an unfair comparison. It's unfair. But your new hot guy, he ain't going gold these days. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. You're going to get like one or two artists that might go gold. You know what I'm saying? But
Drake and any female rapper, one of the big female rappers.
But in the 90s, everybody was going double platinum.
Yeah, like, and that was the thing too. Another thing you don't see anymore. I think we might have talked about this last time. The death of the rap group. When's the last time you heard of a rap group? You know what I mean? When's the last time you heard a crew like the Wu or a group? When's the last time rap groups are dead? And rap
MMG.
Group, yeah, like man, I was down with DOS Effects. I was down with like you name it. I loved a good rap group. Naughty by Nature. Totally underrated too, by the way. Treacherous MC is what a good fucking lyricist he was. Yeah, it's just all their songs were anthem songs, and so people remember the anthems, but they don't remember some of the deeper cuts. He could flow. That dude was nasty. I loved him. Or Big Daddy Kane's having a moment.
Nas actually said that's who, even though Rakim is his father, spiritual father,
the oracle.
He said his flow, his style, he got from Big Daddy Kane.
I wonder where Big Daddy's from, because Queens is where Nas is from, and it's a specific slow flow. The Queensbridge flow is slow, relaxed, laid back, and Brooklyn is too. But like Staten Island niggas are unstable. All the Wu, like half of them are from Staten, and they're out of their fucking mind. Which Staten Island people are, but there's something to Queens dudes who are just real laid back. They're like jazz musicians, and Nas's dad was a jazz musician.
Yeah, Oludar.
Yeah, accomplished one too. And so I think they more adhere to the old school Harlem jazz of you have to weave the lyrics in with the music. Like when you listen to, New York State of Mind or something like that, just the ride he takes you on lyrically that poetically interweaves with the music. It's a fucking masterclass.
You called it. Big Daddy Kane is from Queens.
Yeah, he has to be.
So is Biz Markie, Juice Crew, Marley Marl. Yeah, that's
know all their lyrics because they spell them out and they take you on a ride with them. Whereas if I was, let's say, Brooklyn dudes do too. They tell a good story. Jay-Z does, but those like Staten Island dudes rap faster and huskier. They smoke cigarettes. They're like, I ain't got no time. Like you gotta, what did he just say? But Queens dudes, man, those guys get down. I think what's his name? KRS-One. He's from the Bronx, the Boogie Down.
Boogie Down.
They're
Bronx,
aggressive. Yeah. They're real aggressive rappers.
Yeah. Well, he started rap beef. He started that whole thing. He had a problem with Queens.
We talked about him, me, you, and Pap in the car. I got opinions on him, man.
I've said on the podcast plenty of times. I think KRS-One is overrated, personally. And you're not allowed to talk bad about old school, but
not just overrated, but he just is always saying, He's always saying nothing. He's always saying
he's
nothing.
The blast master. Let me tell you something, youngsters. Let me tell you something. Edutainment. KRS-One. I stopped eating meat from like 88 to like 2004.
What got you? Support?
Edutainment. Listen to edutainment. Listen to edutainment. That was before they castrated the black rappers. You know what I'm saying?
But what gets me about him, and he is a deep dude, and he does have his place on the hip hop Mount Rushmore for sure. But the thing is, he's one of those dudes, like when you're in New York, like one of those 1%er dudes or a black Israelite. It's like, nigga, I ain't trying to hear that today.
This thing. I'm not making him the Messiah. I saw the man throw a mic and hit somebody in the head and saw the mic shoot straight up in the air. And then I saw his crew jump on the soundboard and do the monster mash with knobs popping up and all that. So I'm not saying he's the Messiah. Don't get me wrong.
But that's kind of the thing. He's toxic for hip hop. Like, can we just call it what it is? He started hip hop beef. He started that.
There's duality to it.
He started that.
Don't judge me as I do.
Yeah, he went after the bridge is over.
And his flow. Like, look, I heard this song. I remember it was Kanye, Nas, Rakim and KRS-One, right? It's called Classic. Nice little chill track. It's some promotional track, right? Everybody doing their thing, right? It's not heavy, so it ain't one of those competitive like Renegade tracks, you know what I mean? But everybody's doing their thing. Rakim flow, every time Rakim pop out, it's a hard verse. Every time.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the way it is. I don't care if he pop out with a track today, it's gonna be hard. You know what I'm saying?
Jordan-esque. He goes hard every time.
It's just like, oh, okay, I get it. KRS-One, and he did these lyrics, and I quote, he said, "Peace, love, unity, and having fun. These are the lyrics of KRS-One, one." I was like,
cringe. That's cringe. And by the way, Nas, back to Nas, he put out a trap rap, and it sounded good. At first I was a little knocking it, but then I go, you know what? That's like the Beatles. He's listening to the new sound, and he's acclimating. David Bowie, it's just like rock and roll. Hip hop's here to stay. So now you can. You could be a whole hip hop started,
man. Nas got a song with a track with Lil Jon.
Yeah.
Quick to back down. Come on, that's hard.
I apologize to everybody. I fed into this. I knew better than
old head.
With Jeremy and Nas. I knew better than that. It's on me. I take it.
Freddy is a great hype man. I'm trying not to.
I'll take it.
Keep pulling me in.
But I can't. You can't not. If you're going to talk about hip hop and you don't talk about Nas, you're being remiss. That's what you're being.
But real quick, as we segue into Jeremy's next question, Big Daddy Kane did battle KRS-One.
Yeah.
And KRS-One had the hits, man. He got
songs.
He had the energy. He had the.
He also had the weight behind him at the time of the New York champion of battle raps. Like the bridges open. You don't want to step to him, and that was his area. And I get it. But Big Daddy Kane's suave and smooth, off the top of the dome. Of course, KRS-One's going to win because he's just that guy. But it also goes back to, if you're a great freestyle rapper, it's a great parlor trick, but it ain't going to get you a career. You have to be, like all these Papoose, whoever it is, there's brilliant freestyle rappers. There's a white dude named Harry Mack who's insanely good. But it's like, if you got to also have some pre-style too. And that's what Big Daddy Kane's about is, okay, let's get them in the studio and play their hits. I promise you, Big Daddy Kane eats KRS-One's lunch. Who's out there preaching. This ain't church, homie. I want to hear some rhymes, cuz.
Peace, love, unity, and having fun.
Yeah,
no kidding. Speaking of verses, what is your dream verses?
My dream, like the best verses I've ever heard.
One that you would want to see that either hasn't happened or maybe a rematch.
I would say I would like to see Nas and Jay-Z go back at it, even though Nas snatched his big lips and snapped them back into his face on Ether. He ate him alive. I'd like to see that one, a rematch of that, because that's kind of Ali Frazier kind of thing. They both got my respect.
That'd be boring, man.
You want to see Jay-Z? What?
I don't think Jay-Z would. He doesn't have the energy to. Nas is low energy and Jay-Z is low energy. They both have hits, but I don't think that would be entertaining.
No, you make some good points, especially if you're in a versus. This has to be, all right. So somebody, I wish DMX were still around. Can we go alive or dead? DMX versus Tupac. DMX versus Tupac. My money on DMX.
That'd be hard. And DMX.
My money on DMX all day.
He got more answers.
I'm gonna tell you why DMX would not get it.
I'm listening.
Biggie Smalls. So when I first kind of got introduced to working in hip hop, like being on the road and all that kind of stuff, and being around people that were on the road, I found something very interesting. And what I found interesting is that girls liked Tupac and Biggie music. And I mean, like almost in a romantic kind of way. It was the craziest shit in the world to me. Like that, like, if you like if I was gonna chill with some girls or some stuff like that, you always got the soundtrack, whatever you're gonna play or whatever. you could play Tupac or Biggie, and the girls will be, you know, where it's just not too many MCs that a girl that could just set the tone of some cool chilling with a female.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you know, because they're both crooners, they're both hip hop crooners. Biggie with that bassy voice, it sounded like bass coming through lyrically when he spoke.
I think they had swag, man.
He did. And then Tupac's voice too. It was very ambient. It was easy to listen to. He could weave in and out of the music. But Biggie, which it was bassy. It was always both were, but you never hear a girl go, "Hey, put on 36 chambers." You know, that's a keeper right there.
No, there are those too.
There are those to put on Cuban links.
You might not want to hang out with those, but there are those.
She might ask you to go on a robbery with her, but you know.
You know, it's funny. People are throwing in suggestions right now for verses, but I think they're all bad. Somebody said Tech Nine versus Eminem. I'm like, that's not fair. Busta Rhymes versus Missy. I'm like, that's not fair to Missy. Missy she can't rap. Man.
No, they complement each other, but they don't. He'd gobble her up.
No competition.
Yeah, Busta's he's super versatile, and he's like one of the oldest hip hop artists that can still rap. Missy, she had a little error.
No, she was dope. Man. She was extremely dope.
But she can't rap though.
Her versus Queen Latifah, maybe. But you know,
there it is.
Yeah,
that's more fair.
Hip hop trivia.
How about Ice Spice versus Megan Thee Stallion?
That's unfair. She only got one song. She ain't got a catalog yet.
All right. How about Megan Thee Stallion versus the other one?
Nah, you need Cardi B versus Nicki.
Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj.
Just go straight for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to go straight for it.
How about Boyz II Men versus Color Me Bad?
No, versus Drew Hill, and Drew Hill will watch. Yeah, Boyz II Men. I'm ready for it. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, how about In Vogue versus SWV?
In Vogue.
That's hard though.
They can sing. In Vogue can sing. That was
never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
But hip hop trivia. Who was Busta Rhymes? No.
Who was Busta Rhymes? What?
His group?
Nah, I
Leaders of the New School. His brother's Charlie Brown. Are we doing that?
Reverse.
He's like, that's too easy.
No. I did reverse. Nah, so my homeboy worked with Q-Tip, and he said Q-Tip's first rhyme partner was Busta Rhymes.
Oh,
I was like,
I would have guessed that. Yeah. They still rap together. That's
they collaborated because he was with Leaders in the New School. Busta Rhymes was, and when they teamed up for Scenario, Busta Rhymes was with Leaders of the New School, and his brother Charlie Brown was also a member of that, and they teamed up for Scenario. And he came in on the last verse, and is the first rapper to ever crush it on the last verse. Last verse is a garbage verse. That's where you put, Money B from Digital Underground on. But
you're right. Historically, it don't make the radio.
Yeah, and when you listen, that's the crescendo of the song. You listen for us. Watch as I combine from the loose from the mind. Heal up, come back, rewind, powerful impact, boom from the cannon. Just the best. Yeah, you look like you're in a Busta video right now. He always look like he's looking at you through a peephole on a door.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was a Busta album, Big Bang Theory, or Big Bang. Yeah, they collabed twice on there, but they have different styles and they complement each other. You know, they're like I think they're like best friends for real.
When Q-Tip's boy told me that, I was in Australia and we were drinking, one night drinking, and he told me, and I was like, nah, because Tip was on tour. He was on tour, and I was like, nah. And then I thought about it, and I was like, nah, that could be because they went to high school together. It was Biggie, Q-Tip, Busta Rhymes. They said Jay-Z went there, but he didn't bring.
I think Craig Mack went to high school with them.
Could have been, but he didn't. Yeah, he didn't bring it into the conversation. But when he said it, I didn't get it. And then when I woke up the next morning for the breakfast at the hotel, I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I can see Busta Rhymes doing that. You know? I can see that being realistic.
For sure. Yeah, that was that high school in Brooklyn was I think DMX, like a lot of people came out of that particular high school, like who made big splashes in music.
Your favorite genre of music?
Hold on. Yeah. I'm in the podcast right now. It's all right. My neighbor coming by to pay a visit.
Hey, bearing gifts, hopefully.
Favorite what now?
Your favorite genre of music?
Oh, hip hop, 100%.
Hip hop?
Yeah, I love all genres of music, probably except like there's not really any. I'm really open minded to music, but I always love hip hop because hip hop and country remind me a lot of each other because you have to live the life to do it. And as somebody who, you know, you can, but it doesn't help to be a rapper from Montana, and it doesn't help to be a country star from New York. You know what I mean? There's a lifestyle that goes with it that I like, that I almost feel like they take on the old rock and roll lifestyle and have made it a thing. But I love wordplay. I love I can't sing. That's probably why I love rap so much. I can sing like other people, but I can't sing. But I love rap because it's just like it's a story that I love story, and I love lyrics, and I love words. And to me, it's something, it's for us, by us, but no, it's by us, but for everyone. It's jazz music. It's as important as jazz music to me. Like it's a uniquely Black American thing that we can say is ours, that we shared with the country and the world. And it's enormous. Look at it.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Well, what's your favorite hip hop movie?
Probably House Party. I probably watched that more. I probably rented that from Blockbuster more than 50 times for sure. And my sister and I learned to dance, like everything. Like I love that. And I love how full force they were, like 36 in high school. Like you just didn't question it, but it was that early 90s part of just kind of that positive Black vibe that I love so much. You know.
You know the interesting part.
You seen Kid now though? Chris Reed, Kid from Kid and Play.
Yeah,
he's still hanging on to like 9 hairs on his head.
Yeah, I run into him kind of often. It's very
his hair look like the rest of the ramen that you didn't eat. I'm like, you gotta let that go, homie. You gotta let that go. Like nobody like it just I think it's part of his image, but I'm like, I used to love that fade. It was so crisp. I used to try to get mine like that.
Man. Yeah, because you actually bring up an interesting point though. His hair texture is not the same as you would think it was, because he had like the perfect like microphone felt.
Yeah, he got an S curl now.
Plugs.
Yeah. Plugs, you think so?
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it's drippy, it's sad. It looks like he looks like the dude who kept Garfield, John. I think John.
He looks like homeboy from Night at the Roxbury, man.
Speaking of which, our guest next week will be Christopher Reed. No.
Hey, he's like a cool dude. He does.
I used to run into him all the time. You know, he performs.
He's always got good energy.
You know, he performs stand-up, right?
Yeah. He's been like a consultant on Bill Maher's show for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he used to bring him out as a comedian, but I mean, he's just a likable guy. I wouldn't say he's funny nor a good rapper. I wouldn't put them in my top 100. I mean, you know.
I went from running into him in Hollywood and be like, hey, oh my God, Kid, to be like, oh shit, it's Kid. I'm gonna go across the street real quick.
Isn't that funny how Hollywood does that? That David Lee Roth used to come up and try to hang out at the Comedy Store. And at first we're like, fucking David Lee Roth wants to hang out. But by the third night, he's like, what's up, guys? We're like, fuck, Dave, I gotta go home, man.
I gotta go, bro.
Yeah, I can't keep up with you, you fucking degenerate.
Hey.
That's a good one though.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the elephant in the room. Stand-up comedy versus the writing room.
Well, that's good. It's a good question.
And we're not talking about the accolade. We're not talking financial accolades, because I could see a writer doing, you know, kind of cooler financially, possibly, than whatever. But I'm saying passionately, writing jokes to get up and perform yourself, or writing jokes for somebody else, or scenarios for somebody else.
I gotta tell you, man, your questions are fucking stepping the fuck up, bro. You been in county recently? Because you're asking some good questions. All right. It's a really good question. So I would say this. I love a writer's room because of I like I played sports in high school. My friend, if she's watching this, is gonna be like, oh, shut the fuck up. But I played sports in high school and I was very competitive. I love sports. I love working with a team to accomplish a goal. So in the writer's room, I love that. But I also, when I played football, I was a strong safety and I was also given freedom to do what I want. I could float, I could read the play. And so the part of comedy that I do stand up that I like, the old competitor in me comes out more in stand up because it's like boxing. It's me and my shorts and nothing else and my wit. Whereas a writer's room on a day that sometimes you're not feeling as funny or whatever, there's somebody else in the room who has the hot hand. And I do like that aspect of the teamwork that way. I love, if one of my other writing partners they're just hitting that day. They had their coffee, they said the right things, so, but I was a stand-up first and I'll always be a stand-up till I die, homie.
Hey. Question though, quick question. So the whole writing room thing, how would one break the ice with a person that's on the team and you guys just aren't seeing a similar vision, but you're on a team? So how do you overcome that?
So what are you saying? Like if somebody has an idea that nobody's feeling, how do you basically tell them?
Like say for instance, you're at a table, you're with your team, and there's someone on your team that you guys just always seem to go in the opposite directions, and it almost becomes it's not on purpose, but it's just it's just how people have energy. Like you might have three homeboys, right? You guys get together. There's always one where you're like, well, are we gonna tell him this time? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, I know what you mean. You know what it is? Again, another really good question. I think what happens, it's organic, and if it works itself out, it will. Say like you now think of it as your family. You got that uncle who drinks too much, smokes a little too much, says a little too much. But once they become your family, we've been on this is our 7th season. So even the worst of the people that I work with, I love. Okay. You know what I mean? Because you've learned to find their idiosyncrasies, their faults, their energy. Like you were saying, this is just part of who they are and how they conduct themselves. Maybe they don't mean it, or they come from a good place, or they have a lot of really good ideas. But I also find if you're in a writer's room, you got there because you're already witty. You're already able to make other people laugh. You kind of get the idea. It's almost like if you were, again, going back to like an athlete, like if you were soft. Like you got to get tough in a writer's room. If they're not feeling it, they're not feeling it. But as a comedian going on stage, the audience tells me right away if they're feeling it or not. They might not be right, but I'll find a way that I meet them there, and they are right for the time. I have to find a way to make that more relatable, funnier, whatever it is. But I find if you have bad energy in a writing room, you're not going to stay in that writing room very long. Like you have to be, you got to be palatable. It's just like being a normal person in life with friends, really. You meet people who's like, I can't find anybody. I was like, finding somebody's easy, and if you're an okay person, you can keep them. But people lose their jobs, they lose this and that, and everywhere they go, it's them, and they don't realize it.
Man, I say it all the time. I'll be like, man, I really feel like I could be with anybody. It's just how long I want to be with you.
Jeremy,
like, sorry. Not for me.
Jeremy telling that pre-marriage, giving that pre-marriage conversation of you know what I'm saying.
But I've always felt this way.
But it's never been like these people who can't find a mate or something. I'm like, go outside. Like, how hard is it? Like I don't get, but I think a lot of times I don't realize we had, and I won't name names, but we had a difficult person on our staff before, and that person didn't last long because, again, this is all about the art. We're trying to accomplish a goal. And if you're coming in there, like if you're on a team, be like, we're going to lose. You're off this team. We haven't got time for that.
The team is bigger than any one individual. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
Unless you're Michael Jordan, but you know what I mean? Yeah. But even Jordan he'll be the first to tell you Scotty helped him do it. So it's like you're right. There's something to where organically, if you don't fit, you're not going to get asked back. And that's happened before.
Mm-hmm.
People coming in, being dicks.
Got a quick question for you from the chat from Mike Alvarez. They said, can you give a memorable all-time moment you had with hip hop?
Okay, memorable. That was probably the NWA story, but I'll tell another one. I know. I'll tell another one. This was 2000. I was 20 years old, and I just started at the Comedy Store. And I was walking up there, and Method Man and Redman were touring their Blackout album that had come out, I want to say, a year or two before that. But they were out doing a tour, and they were just Reggie and Johnny Blaze standing in front of the old Hyatt, which is now the Andaz. And they're just standing there shooting the shit. And I walk up to them like a fanboy. I couldn't even stop myself. And I was like, oh my God, that Blackout album might be the best duo rap album I've ever heard in my life. And they dapped me up, like, they were like, yeah, all right, son, all that. And I was just like, oh my God, I just met Method Man and fucking one of my favorite rappers of all time, Redman, who's just, to me, one of the most underrated artists of all time. Like, just definitely incredible stuff. Just meeting those guys, and I had that music was so important to me because when I first moved to LA, I was bumping that Blackout album like constantly. It was just so good the way they played off each other. Their voices are just so husky and East Coast and gravelly and rich, but they had such dynamic styles. And I remember that line, "Oh, what a rush, cigar be the touch, Method Man and Redman, Starsky and Hutch." Like, they just had such good flow. And to meet them, it was almost like one of these things where I'd been listening to the album. I just got to Hollywood, and I was like, almost a confirmation that I did the right thing. I just met two of my hip hop heroes. So that would be my second best hip hop experience ever.
Actually, real quick, I got two. I got a story with how I met both of them. Both of them real cool. I met Method Man in a CVS in Beverly Hills. I saw him from a distance. He looked like if I were to draw Method Man from memory, it was like he looked like that. He had the baggy jeans, Timbs, army fatigue coat. This is LA. And he had a hat. Like, it was like, yo, like, it was, I was like, yo, so I was like, yo, Meth, right? And he was like, he was like, hey, what's going on, man? So we go to CVS, and I was telling him, like, I don't know how I knew he knew Tiffany Haddish.
Oh, Haddish?
But somehow, they just did a movie together. That's what it was. It was in some movie together. I forgot what. I think Keanu. I think he was in Keanu too, or something like that. And I was doing a Laugh Factory night. I was like, I'm gonna go to. I told him I was a comedian. I'm at the Laugh Factory night. He was, oh, cool. He's like, yeah. He said, yeah, you know Tiffany? I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, if you see her tonight, tell her that her freestyle was trash. Like, she left a freestyle on his voicemail, and he never got back to her. So he said, if you see her, tell her that. And I was like, for real? Like, he's like, yeah, she'll think it's funny. I was like, all right. So so I ended up running into her at the Laugh Factory, and I was like, yo, I was just seeing Method Man tonight. She early today, and she's like, really? I was like, yeah, he told me to tell you your freestyle was trash. I thought that she would think that was funny.
Oh, she got big mad.
She did not think that was funny. She was like, he could have told me, like, what the hell? Like, what type of...
Why he talking shit about me?
I'm glad other people have moments like that.
She looked sad. Like, she was not... I was like...
She would have the nerve to do that or date Common and still try to bust a freestyle rap. It's like, you can't...
No, this is before she blew up. This is before, she really took off. This was like... It was some Laugh Factory Christmas party. And,
I'm going to say something to her about it because she's on our show. I'll see her next time and be like, Method Man says you can't spit.
Oh, man, you going to trigger the memory all over again. And then she... And did
Dude,
with Red,
that's what I love about Meth, though. He's so pure. He's like, I can't give it up. I got to tell you you're garbage. I got to.
And did Redman, I met him at Governor's Ball. it's like a New York's version of Coachella.
Mhm.
And I was working the event, and you know, a bunch of people was there, and this is like 2019, and they had like an employee area where we get lunch. You know, most of the PAs or whatever, they wear all black, so it's just like stage hands and all that, just wear all black. So I'm in line, on the lunch line, I see this dude who looked like Redman, and I just couldn't help it. I had to tell him, I was like, yo, dude, I said, you look like. I said, so what the fuck you doing here? It was actually
I bet he was
Redman
loading his plate up too, wasn't he?
working. Yeah, he was working the event like a stagehand.
What?
And yeah, it was crazy. I was like, I was like, what are you doing here? And he was like, oh man, he said, you know, I just kind of take on different tasks, you know, just to kind of like learn different stuff or whatever.
Dude,
And
he
said,
skydives. I just recently read that. He's like, he learned to skydive. Even when he was on MTV Cribs, he lived in like a single apartment, and he was a millionaire. He lived in a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. Cribs. That's iconic.
grimy.
I actually asked him about that. He said he still owns that spot.
He's grimy, and I fucking love it. That's what I love. And he's an honorary Wu-Tang member too. He's a cousin.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
An 11th member after Master God.
Yeah, that's why, man.
Yeah, for sure. God, that would be funny. There was there's some people who do it, like even actors will do that, but he does that just to, I do that. I like experiences. Like that's why I did the cop thing for a half a minute. Like I just want an experience. I crave experience as a writer, you know. Oh, show me what normal people do. This sounds very fucking interesting.
Yeah, he just, I mean, it just caught me off guard, but that's how I got cool with him. You know what I mean? I talk to him right now. I try to get him on the show. Never happened. But but yeah, Red Man, that was just weird to see him in a lunch line. I was ready to make fun of somebody for looking like him.
He's pretty tall too, right? He's like 6'3" or something, 6'2".
About 6'1", 6'6",
yeah.
around 6.
Yeah,
I'll say around 6.
I say Method Man taller for sure.
Yeah,
Method Man's tall. He's taller.
He was like 6'3", pushing 6'4" when I met him.
Like 6.
Yeah, I was looking up for sure.
I'm about 6'2", and he's over me.
Okay.
I just know when I see him walking down the street looking like a New Yorker, like it was just like the rawest.
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, why are you dressed like that with the grills and everything?
Yeah, and, fresh new Yankees cap, untouched with the 50-50 still on.
And when I went to talk to him, it was almost like he was like, yeah, follow me. And I went down the aisle and he was talking to me. He wasn't talking directly to me. He was like talking this way, but he was like talking to me on the side. He was like, yeah. He's like, oh, that's wild. I don't know if he had people looking for him or what. It was just weird.
That's so fucking funny, man. Goddamn.
All right, real quick, I want to catch you up on this. I don't even know how to introduce this. So basically, I don't know. Do you watch The Breakfast Club or you keep up with that?
Yeah, with Charlemagne, yeah.
Yeah. So as you know, they reformatted recently. It's been boiled down to, you know, DJ Envy, Charlemagne now have an additional guest. There's speculation that DJ Envy might get fired soon because he has this
more than that.
Huh?
He might get more than that.
Yeah, because he has this real estate scam where his partner was recently just arrested. Pretty much they sell houses, but however they do it, they take the money. People will give them the money and they help find them a house or, you know, find them an investment or whatever. And a lot of people haven't been getting paid back. You know, their money's just been up in the air. Yeah, so the cops investigated the guy. He went to jail, but he ended up getting out on bond. And a lot of people think that he's coming for Envy Next. They're coming for Envy Next. The reason why they feel like this might be serious because he might lose his job because he's brought this guy on the Breakfast Club for an interview on numerous occasions. And a lot of people only do business with this guy because of DJ Envy and his affiliation with the Breakfast Club. So, yeah, but just want to know what your thoughts on that.
Man, Charlemagne's always popping up on my feed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I still love the Birdman punking. I love that shit. But if he's doing that, especially if you're doing it, I imagine he's doing it with black and brown people, especially like predatory loans and things like this. Is that what it is, or Ponzi scheming?
This is the thing. Envy, he likes to go hard on. See, Charlemagne. He's like just the antagonist. That's just what he is. That's just what he does. But Envy kind of tries to make it like he's smarter than people and like he's a little better than people.
He does condescend a bit.
So what ended up happening is Envy, honestly, I think Rick Ross knew something before we knew something, because those two kind of were getting into it a little bit. And at first it kind of looked like something that they were doing, like, you know, how people just use each other to get high, like on social media or whatever, like going back and forth or whatever. But then when this guy sees, what's his name, Jeremy? Is his name Caesar?
Caesar, yeah.
Yeah, Caesar. So when the guy Caesar started not, I guess, following through, because they were doing workshops and everything. Like, put it this way, they did the poor man's Magic Johnson, Donald Trump, and Russell Simmons run, like years ago. But the thing about it was, when Donald Trump, Russell Simmons, and Magic Johnson, when they would come out, they give you a little something. They wouldn't necessarily let you invest, but they were more or less speaking one-on-one mentorship, life coaching, you know, a pathway to success type of thing. They weren't taking your money saying, okay, you give me this bread, I'm going to flip it. We're going to make you part of us, like part of our whole thing. And the guy Caesar, he was just like, I've made $30 million. And, you know, just like he was just, it was just so much that he was piling on to it. And see, the part that was disheartening to me, it was somebody telling the story about, you know, they kind of had checked Caesar for taking the money and blah, blah, blah. And man, I really believed it when they said it. They was like, man, he came and met us with jewelry. And he was like, man, just take this jewelry. Just take this jewelry and I'll get back to you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it all right. But just take this jewelry for now. So to me, if you're doing a scam, if you're doing a hustle, if you're not giving somebody back their cash money and you've been outed, like you like the gig is over. Like we all know that it's just not what it is.
Right.
If you're not even giving them money and you trying to peddle trinkets to them, oh man, you're in deep, man. You're in deep. And so basically what he was doing, Caesar, he would take a piece of property and he would just let multiple people invest into this property. But the amounts that he would take from people were larger than the amount that the property was even worth. And you could just tell that, like, it's someone who got in deeper. Like he just had gotten in too deep to crawl out. Like put it this way, he was millions in. Like you would think that because of the properties that he's owned and him flipping and how, you know, Envy painted him and every single thing, you think like, okay, man, he'd just take the money out of his mattress if he had to and just break people off to just shut up. He got everybody, man. He got everybody.
Yeah.
And Envy tried to sidestep away from the situation, but he had already endorsed the dude hella. Like if there is no way that Envy, and this is and I'll say this and then we'll you know, I'll stop my little rant or whatever. This is the one thing that showed me that something was foul about it. Now, Angela Yee would talk about owning property in Detroit and flipping houses in apartment buildings in Detroit. And she always talked about, well, she didn't always, but I paid attention when
I remember her talking about that. Yeah.
You know, her in real estate. And for her to not be fucking with them dudes, I was like, it's like if somebody on your writer's table, like you guys are cool enough, you guys are kind of cool, somebody's bragging about how they got something popping. If you're not messing with them and you're with them, you know them intimately, not intimately, but you know them, you know, more than casually or whatever. It's like, if you're doing the same thing and you're not dealing with them, something's just not, you know what I'm saying? So
but they all, Angela Yee included, they've all had their shady moments. Sadly, the Breakfast Club is like the number one, you know, radio show. You know, they far beat Hot 97, like by far. But sadly, the thing that drives them is the drama.
Bro, they love
It's
the
not,
drama.
yeah, it's not the hip hop knowledge.
His only saving grace,
They're all messy.
DJ Envy's only saving grace is he's one of these people who was silently invested, where it's like, okay, here's my money, you do your thing. If he can show some distance, but you're right. You know, if that's your boy and you've had him on the radio, you'd have to know some unscrupulous things about him. You know, you'd have to know like that's federal charges you're looking at, because it probably happens over more than just New York State and city. You know, so now you're talking federal charges. So I doubt Charlemagne would mind that bad, but he needs a Dominican dude sitting across from him who thinks he's deeper than everybody.
Yeah, each
Man,
one of them.
you know what? The karmatic energy of this whole thing. Envy doing Tyrese the way he was doing it, man. Karmatic,
Rick Ross. This whole year for Envy has been really interesting because, like, you would have thought the show might have gotten boring, but it's gotten more exciting because Envy is just like
the novella.
Yeah,
but you're right about the Tyrese
it keeps
thing.
people tuned in because it's always on the headlines. What happened on the Breakfast Club this morning? I never miss it. Like I can't miss it because I always have to end up clicking on it and go, okay, what did Charlemagne say today? Because Charlemagne be like, I just don't like your shit. And I love how he became so New York too. Like he's from North Carolina. This dude's all suddenly he's trudging around in Tim's. I don't like your stuff, B. Who else was it who checked him? It was because he was like, you had put out an album.
Up, man. He got beat up.
Yeah, he got hands, and then Fredro Starr punked him too. You remember that?
Took the glasses off.
Yeah, Fredro Starr was he was ready to put hands on him, and he was scared. Charlemagne got scared.
Siegel, Beanie
yeah,
Siegel.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
it was
Nelly.
And that's who he's like, you a clown. He's like, all right, I'm a clown. Yeah. He talked too much though. You know what I mean? Just because you don't like somebody, like, okay, I think he doesn't like Drake. Fine, I don't like Drake very much, but I'm not gonna have him on my show and diss the man. Like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? Be it, you know, like, why are you like, to me, to ignore who's big in hip hop just because you don't like them, you're not being a good interviewer. You got to get the biggest rappers. You got to get the people maybe you don't vibe with, but you can't. What's it? He had Post Malone on there, was shitting on the poor kid. Just being a dick. Post Malone's a nice fucking guy.
And,
you know, just talking mad shit.
Donald Glover, he said he stink. He said he don't wash
I
up.
agree with him on that, but I can't stand Donald Glover.
And then he said, was it Lil Ma?
Oh yeah.
That's the one, he made her cry. Yeah,
he made her cry. You just ain't got it. You know, just like, fuck, man, who are you? I bet he's like 5'6", isn't he?
Hey, we don't need a Freddy at our writing table, man. Freddie said he just ain't got it. He just ain't got it. I can see Freddie powwowing with the crew.
He just ain't got it.
That new guy, he just ain't got it, man.
You can tell right away who got it and who don't. I can tell if a comedian's funny before he even goes on stage. I can be like, he ain't got it. She ain't got it. Whoever ain't got it, ain't got it.
What makes a signature joke?
Signature joke, probably something that happened to you or mostly happened to you, something personal, you know. People always think, like, you know, a comic doesn't necessarily tell a joke so much as we relive a story, and a good one plays all the parts of the people involved. So to me, a good joke is when the audience is reliving the moment with me. That's what my definition for me would be. Is if I take you to that place. I don't tell you about it, I take you there. That shit felt deep, homie.
That's why you get paid the big bucks, man.
Cheers.
What's your favorite impression that you do?
Right now it'd have to be Donald Trump. A lot of fun to do him. Okay, we're facing big charges, a lot of lies. The lying Democrats are trying to stump me, jam me up. They don't want me to be president. But mostly I always do them for voiceovers now. So I don't do them on stage anymore. But if I'm doing a headlining set, probably Ice-T too. That one's always easy, and I can just slip right into him, man. You know what I'm saying? Got that lisp and everything.
I
Keep
like when he
getting
did.
better.
I like when he did Soldier Boy. And he
What's that?
told.
Oh
I
yeah,
like when Ice-T did Soldier Boy, and Soldier Boy actually made him look stupid
yeah.
because he was like, man, he said these rappers they could suck a dick, man, suck a
Yeah.
dick. And then he said, what you look like telling a 14-year-old to suck a dick?
Yeah. Yeah. Ice-T's also one of these dudes always on Twitter, like addressing his haters. I'm like, nobody hates you. You're beloved. You're a goddamn folk hero at this point, motherfucker. Nobody who's hating on you? Nobody.
The episode of the Boondocks was great where they addressed that scenario, and it was like Thugnificent was I want to say no, it was Carl Thomas. It wasn't Busta Rhymes. I wanted to say it was Busta Rhymes was one of his crews, but anyway, they were at the radio station and Thugnificent was talking, and Thugnificent was supposed to be kind of like Ice-T, and then Thugnificent had an album coming out, and it was supposed to like he wanted to reach the young kids and all that stuff, and he was talking. And then he just went left, and Riley was like, no. He said, yeah, these young fools, they start going off on Soldier Boy. And then he just blurted it out. Yeah, these young niggas can suck a dick.
Yeah.
That's
Context
funny.
is everything, man. I mean, I know what he was saying, but yeah, Soldier Boy, he found a loophole. He was like,
Yeah.
I'm a kid, feeding my family.
That's a good line to come back at him too. And I see he's on Law and Order now. Like, you ain't gangster no more. Come on, settle down with all this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so the biggest change in the comedy scene.
I guess a lot of people are saying that, like, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. I personally haven't found it. I found that I'm finding a lot of the older guys, and I'm not going to name names, but are kind of uninspiring anymore. They're just so caught up in words they can't say, rather than just be funny. Just that's our job, is say funny shit, regardless of the times. And I think it's kind of a white guy thing right now. They're like, we can't say anything, man. We can't. What? You can't say the N-word? You never could, without catching some hands. Like I feel like I'm comedy is missing somebody who is still willing to grow and offer new perspectives on things that aren't expected. And by that I mean, like, yeah, of course, if you're a 50-something-year-old white guy, you don't get these pronouns and all this stuff. It's a new world. You don't get it. But it's just kind of like being an old head who talks about back in my day. Like, if an artist doesn't grow, they're doomed. And I think that's just what I see from a lot of comedians, just very comfortable in their what made them big, but not looking for, like a good musician would, a new sound, a new thing to talk about. George Carlin just would reinvent himself. There's just no more comedians to me that seem to. I mean, they're just not in the limelight that are really trying to say something to everyone, not just pander to their audience.
Your most iconic moment
Ever?
Yep.
I spent 2 hours with Michael Jordan one night in 1997. He was in town. He was playing, let's see, 90s. No, but no, it was 98. And he was, I think, already with the Wizards by then, but he was in town to see his mother. And my friend worked at a club in Scottsdale, Arizona called Axis and Radius, a guy I played football with. He was the fullback at Arizona State. He was the bouncer there. He's like, hey, man, I know you love Michael Jordan. He's here. I was like, what? So I rushed down there, and I invite my sister, who's a very pretty mixed girl at the time. And I was like, I'll use her as currency. You know what I mean? So I get there, they let me in. He's there with, of all people, Warren G. I'll still never figure out this pairing. But me and Michael got so buddy because we were just talking hoops, and Michael's always down to talk hoops. And I'm like, I remember in Cleveland Cavs had your number, but you finally got him. He's like, yeah. Like, he was getting amped. I was getting amped. We were broing out so hard. He's buying me Bud Lights. We're clinking beers. If I walked away from that meeting that night having met him, I'd have been like, that was the coolest, tall, skinny dude I've ever met. And that's the thing. He didn't look giant in person. He's 6'6". I swear to God, he's 6'5", maybe even under. Like, he even lists himself taller than he really is. And we had a great time, talked about the Suns finals, everything, just broed the fuck out. And he was really nice to my sister, danced with her. Like, we just had a great time. And he was just a fun hang. And at the end of the night, I had one of those like fun savers, those disposable cameras. I was like, Mike, any chance we can get a picture? He goes, I'd love to, man. But if I take a picture and the flash goes off, everybody in here is going to want a picture. I was like, I get you. I'll just keep this memory forever. But dapped him up, hip hop hugged, and Warren G was staring at me the whole time. Like, I came with him, but I had been throwing out the whole fucking time. I was 18 years old, and it was just, like, I moved to Hollywood 2 years later, and that was by far the biggest star I've ever met, was Michael Jordan in Arizona one night, and spent 2 hours with him talking about basketball. He let me touch his head. He goes, go ahead, touch it. You have the most iconic bald head since Kojak. Like, he goes, go ahead and touch it. I was like, I touched Michael Jordan's bald fucking head. It was amazing. It was an amazing head.
Your sister must have been fine, man. Oh man, she must have been fine. Boy, you got that.
I was like, come on, give that nigga
man.
some pussy. Give that nigga some pussy. Let's get him in the family tree. Come on, with like, come on. God damn, it's Michael Jordan. But he was always one of my idols. Not that I wanted to play basketball, but I just love his mentality. Be the fucking best. And you do that by making sure you're the goddamn best. And he was a fucking general. I love his mentality. Him, Ali, and Tyson. The three Mikes, and Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, and Michael Jordan and then Muhammad Ali for measure. But I love their mentality. I love their take no shit attitude. And Jack Johnson. Those are all my idols. Like, do your shit. Don't worry about other people. You're in a competition with yourself,
What's the best advice anyone's ever given you?
Get out of your own way. Kind of a common saying, but my dad would tell me that. Get out of your own way. Just stop thinking so much and just start doing. Thinking, it's a huge problem. People think too much. Thinking is the seed of bad thoughts. But if you're going to think good thoughts. And, that's why it goes back to Ali and Jordan. It started in the mind with those guys. You know what I mean? Like, Muhammad Ali, 6'2", 190 pounds. That's not an ideal build for a boxer. Or Tony Hawk being 6 feet tall, a skateboarder. It's not an ideal build, but if you have that mentality, then you can go places, and I've always believed in that. Even when I played sports or comedy, I'm not against anybody. I'm for me. And so if I get out of my own way, don't think negative thoughts, don't get caught up in jealousy, don't get caught up in who's doing what, I'll be just fine.
If you had a biopic, what would it be called?
Frederick of Hollywood.
I like that.
Yeah, homie, you feeling that? Yeah.
A better question: who would play you other than yourself?
I'd get with Jeffrey Wright to play me. The actor, Jeffrey Wright. You know who he is.
Come on, man. He was Dr. Narcisse, and that's so crazy that I'm going to that. But he was Dr. Narcisse in
Spider-Man or one of those?
Boardwalk Empire. He had an excellent role in Boardwalk Empire.
I loved Boardwalk Empire. I'm trying to remember him on that.
Yeah, he was Marcus, whoever it was that ratted out Marcus Garvey or whatever. He was like that. He was like he was supposed to be down for the black people, but he was kind of selling heroin on the side.
I remember now. Okay.
And then also he was dope. Rest in peace, Richard Roundtree. Once again, he was dope in Shaft. That Dominican role he had in Shaft wasn't no joke.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, he's versatile. I like him, but he's actually older than me, so I'd probably have to get somebody younger. More likely. Yeah. And I don't know, but he's pretty young. It's Fred. You know what I'm saying? You might have to get Robert Downey Jr. to do blackface again because he's the only one who can. Robert Downey Jr., babe. He's going to play Freddy Lockhart. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
It's a
one.
pretty good Robert Downey Jr., isn't it?
He had his lips so big, man.
I don't even see him in that role. It's so crazy.
His lips were so big, man.
But that's talent, man. I mean, you know, people.
That is talent.
Somebody asked me that recently, but I was just like, nah. I mean, he was acting, and then they addressed it in the film. So I'm like, my work here is done. What
it was meta. It was done right. It was tastefully done to make fun of such an absurd thing. And that's why I'm glad that the cancel police just can't get to that, because it was just damn funny, you know?
With that being said, I'm going to hit you with the last one. The world has changed, COVID, everything. You've seen us not being able to come together, us able to come together in overdrive because we felt like we missed out on so much. Writer strikes, AI, so much stuff. Where do you see the social progression going in 2 years as far as the way that someone like myself, the consumer, receives the consumable? So like I know that YouTube creates a lot of competition for written content and written shows because it's for people with shorter attention spans, it gives you so many appetizers with no nutritional value. Like you just get so many appetizers, no nutritional value at all. But there's guys like you that are working with the Chef Gordon Ramsay's, the Emeralds, the whatever, to cook up this great meal to give us 30 to 40 minutes worth of sustenance to keep our attention like zoned in. With AI, with the strikes, with all that stuff, where do you see all this going?
I guess I'm not so afraid of AI because I look at it like if you're still a creative person, it can be a tool to help you expedite yourself to that creativity. So a lot of people are scared of change. I've never been scared of change. I welcome it because to me, I'm grateful to wake up every day and go, the future is actually here, like the Jetsons era, the shit that we heard about, the the self-driving cars, the drones, it's all here. And I'm more fascinated by it and not scared of it. And I think, again, it's kind of like you said with the writer's room, if somebody doesn't work, organically things work themselves out. And I hope we're getting away from a time. I feel like politically we're people are getting sick of extreme politics on the right or the left. I think technology scares some people, but we're starting to see some really great applications for it. Like the Apple Watch can tell you if you're going to die or not. It's there's some things that to me, I guess I'm just a glasses half full kind of person. So I'm not worried about AI coming for my job. The post-COVID era, I currently have COVID right now. It was the first time I got it and I'm still testing positive. I haven't tested today.
What?
Yeah, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow since I tested positive.
What? Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, it's just life goes on. We can call it something. We can get upset. Obviously the thing in Israel is huge, but you just got to live your life. And so the future of show business, of social media, it doesn't really scare me. And social media to me is no different than TV. What are you watching? Me, I'm watching dog videos and things that teach me how to build shit I'll never build, a cabin or something, So it depends on what you're flooding your mind with. And just like food, you got to eat the positive stuff. There's plenty of positive out there. The news is bad. That's what blood leads. That's an old saying in journalism. And so when you turn on the TV, sure, the world looks bad, but I'm not seeing it outside of my door. And maybe that's an ignorant stance to take, but I can only worry about my life and the people around me. So I'm not worried about the future. I'm excited about it. Quite excited.
Dope. Nah, man, I'll say this. The first 2 times was test runs, man. The first couple of times that the times that we've had you on, we didn't get that real good conversation before the show, but man, I appreciated that B-roll conversation. I was like, dang, but I've never been around you. I don't know you, but like getting to know you before the show and then your point of view as we've had this podcast, man, this was a very informative for me, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Freddie.
Oh man, I appreciate you having me on, both of you guys. I love coming on.
Cool. You got anything coming up? Any you hitting any stages we need to know about?
Put my avails in yesterday, so we'll hear.
Okay.
Well, I guess I got no Comedy Store, but the Improv probably in the next couple of weeks. But you know, I'm around LA all the time. Comedy Store, Improv. I had a spot Saturday at the Comedy Store, but I had to cancel because I'm still showing positive on the COVID.
Oh man.
But I'm feeling fine. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to go around spreading that shit. So
Yeah.
just laying low until I get a positive reading. But other than that, I'm out there, man. I'm doing the show.
Yeah.
Funny you should ask. It's on everywhere all the time.
Yeah, don't give the haters nothing to hate about, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Keep your head down and keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you, Jeremy, what you got coming up?
What got coming up? Supposed to be in Houston, November 2nd. First San Diego. Houston is the secret group. Yeah, in East Village. And I might go to Austin after that. Other than that, that's it. Same with Freddy, maybe Comedy Store this week. I think put my avails in, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm thinking like they could still call.
Yeah, you never know. I'll text the text. So
you want to give your socials, Freddy?
At Freddy Lockhart on formerly known as Twitter, now X. Freddy Lockhart Insta on social media, on that social media is there. Instagram, and then Freddy Lockhart on TikTok, and then Freddy Lockhart on YouTube. So I'm out there. I should probably put more stuff up. My YouTube is mostly me playing Grand Theft Auto, so don't look for excitement.
Funny quick thing. So one of my buddies is Sling Johnson, and he's so interested because he's a hell of a people person. Like, he's a hell of a people person, and when I'm out with him, if people gravitate towards him because of like Black Jesus, or they get that he's a comedian or whatever, usually it's someone that's, you know, over the age of 25 or whatever. And then if they have younger people with them, the younger people are kind of like, man, why is everybody all stirred up about this guy? Like, what's the big deal? And Slink's like, oh, I got something for you. Then he just bust into Lamar. And then they're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, I get it. Well, with that being said, man, I wish you a speedy recovery, Fred.
Appreciate you.
This was a dope conversation. I appreciate you, Jeremy. And I stepped right into it.
With the
knives. I stepped right into a pile of knives.
Every time.
I couldn't drag it off my shoe.
I was gonna wear my Nas shirt.
No.
All right, well, I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much for having me on at any time. I love being on here.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you was on, Fred. Appreciate you, man. Seriously.
All right, peace, guys.